Right, okay, so what we've got here is replugs, which is a little filter system. This gives you loads of options for different filter types and things like that. So replugs, find that, install that. Refer is the big one that we want if we're going to use it, but also the audio gate is useful. Obviously this is just a filter, so what you need is something to process it. What I like to use is Carla, which I've got in here. Just find the latest one on their website. So that's KX Studio. Applications Carla, so you can just search Carla Audio and you'll find a copy of that. Once you've got Carla, you're on Carla. The plugins should be installed. This all starts to look a little bit overwhelming, but don't panic. Configure Carla engine. Change that to ASIO, because ASIO rocks. Let me give you some options here. We're going to be using insert virtual ASIO on potato, actually, because I like potato. This means you're going to have to restart Carla. Yes. Right. Now, how Carla works is you create, add a plugin. So because I installed replugs, that should be here, which it isn't. Which is great, that's wonderful, yeah. There it is. Okay, found them, done. There we are. Replugs. Right. So all I'm going to do here is add a gate. Add plugin. Right. What we should have somewhere in this. There it is. There's the replug. There's my inputs. I should have some outputs. Sorry, yes. Oh, is that the outputs? No, it's the inputs. Okay, so where's the outputs? There it is, down the bottom here. We don't care about MIDI. We're not playing with MIDI. Right. So, if this isn't complicated, you're gonna love this. Okay, so I also use a tool called Voicemeeter Potato. I do actually have the full version, but I don't think it's currently registered, so it might tell me otherwise. You're loading in the background. There you are. Okay. Right, so what we've got here is a board for, basically it's a software mixing desk. So we want the main in to be wherever your microphone is, as it is for me. I'm using the Realtek USB audio because apparently that's how it works. With this internal motherboard one, which I'm using instead of my main sound card, the more you spread out the work throughout different devices, the less latency you have. So I've even been known to actually plug in a real USB one just to minimize the latency between the things. This thing gets really sensitive. Right, so actually that should be doing Sound Blaster Z output. Right, so what we've got here is all sorts of fancy tools that we don't need to worry about. You don't even need to use the potato. There's a smaller version to make life easier. We want to take input 1 and patch insert it. Once that's patch inserted, you'll notice that I'm no longer getting audio. That's because this hasn't been wired up. So we want to wire up the input. And the output. That should do the trick. Notice there's audio in, audio out. Fantastic. So now I should see on here, we've got audio again. Fantastic. Ooh, right, so here what we do is we've got stuff going on. The best thing to do is to just go completely quiet, and find the level whereby you basically don't want to be transmitting, but there is background noise. So as I see it, it's going to be around about here-ish. Now you don't want to go too high, but at the same time you don't want to go too low. So hopefully this is enough whereby my voice will come out, but when I go quiet it will just cut out the audio completely. So you're hearing little clips. I can see little clips of me breathing, so I'm just going to bring it up just a tiny bit. And now hopefully that should just go completely silent when I'm not actually talking, reasonably loudly. If I'm just whispering there might be issues, but it doesn't seem to be. Fantastic. Right. So that's just dropping out the very basic, quiet background noise. It's not actually doing anything to the main voice. Now we can go a step further with this and actually add a real audio filter. The one I like for this is a refer. Do like a bit of refer. Add a plugin refer. Okay, now this is a little bit more technical, but it's actually not too bad. Right, so what we want to do is change it to subtract. As I recall, right, point smooth, point precise. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so now what I've got to do is be very quiet, and it'll just filter out the background noise. So that includes Ra. You're gonna have to be quiet. Can you be quiet? Can you be quiet? She'll be quiet when I talk to her, but then she won't be quiet later. Right, so let's try it. All silent, nice and quiet. Oh yeah. Just in case you're dumb and don't wire it up, that won't do anything. So your best thing to do is you want to avoid the gate. The gate, of course, is going to cause you some issues because it's going to cut out the background noise. So you wire it straight in. So these we basically don't want connected at the moment. So we can just disconnect that. Right. So what should be happening is no output. For some reason, it's giving an output. But anyway. So what this would do is it will filter the audio here, and then here it'll cut out anything below a certain volume. So any little bit of background noise like a car going past, hopefully it'll cut out, unless I'm talking, in which case, it's going to be there. You can only cut out the noise that's constant. So that's what we're doing with this. As you can see, when I go silent, there's a background noise. You can see that on the chart. So what we do is we go silent and we let it remove that. In an ideal world we wouldn't have birds in the background because that's probably going to be messing my voice up even more. But if we just say that works and see what happens. So the regate is going to be obviously causing some issues with how it actually sounds. So what we're going to do is use Voicemeeter. Now this is A1 effectively, so B1 effectively, so where we want to output it to depends on what we click here. Now B1 will be my output, so I want to select B1 to pass that over to B1. As you can see, that's now doing something. Now B1 will be one of my what have I clicked? Don't do that. Oh, it's not doing anything. Okay, right, so from that will give me, I'll demonstrate with a different app. One moment. Here's OBS. Now in here you've got your VB outputs. Now as it's the first one, it's not going to be VIO3, it's going to be the first one. Or, sorry, this one. that's the auxiliary, so that's going to be secondary. So that's going to be my first one. I don't want to set it up as the main mic because I want to be able to switch between them. So I'll add that as a second one. Now it might be echoing a little bit because it's doing both voices at the same time, hopefully. How do I change this? There it is. Right, so if I mute that one, you should now just have my voice as the filtered one, so it should be removing the background noise, the hissing, hopefully, and also it should be cutting out completely when it goes below a certain volume level. So this is both, me demonstrating and actually testing that this has worked at the same time. Right, so hopefully then, this should all now be set up, and oh yeah, I didn't reinstate the gate. Well, let's re-add the gate. Now, when I go silent, it should actually cut it out properly. Now the gate's reinstalled. So yeah, it's not picking me up breathing, but as soon as I start talking, it's picking up and it's transmitting. And it should be cutting out background noise. Okay, so that's me finished.